want to discuss how it's foreign, how it's shadow, how it's secret, how the bill's secret, how the agreements are secret, because they don't want to have a discussion. We force the discussion. We've already done it. From this doesn't exist to, oh, it's good for you. Don't worry about it. It's secret. We've already come that far. And let me tell you, once you identify that there's criminals running things, it's game over. They're going to try tyranny. They're going to try takeovers. Hey, listen, they would have already carried out false flags to blame it on the Tea Party. But they're scared. We've got people in every federal agency, every police department, every shop, every store. There are patriots that know the paradigm with video cameras everywhere. And not even an internet kill switch is going to save you when you pull off some big new 9/11 or nuclear 9/11 and we catch you doing it. Hell, even if you didn't do it, the people are going to blame you. You know that, right? Because you did it so much before. It's like if you're a convicted child molester, 3-time loser, and you've gotten out after 30 years in prison, and a kid gets raped on the street, you're going to get blamed, perp, even if you didn't do it this time. You understand? So you go ahead and pull off those false flags, scum. People ask why I get so vicious and nasty and mean. And I've psychoanalyzed it. I was traumatized as a young man growing up in Dallas, Texas. And you could say it made me who I am, or you could say it made me a nasty person or whatever. I was in a lot of rough situations. But the point is that at least I'm not these jellyfish that don't recognize tyranny when they see it. I've seen it, and I know to stand up against it. And I know these nasty people have to be met with nastiness right back. Their intimidation, their arrogance, their con artist game is over. Who's going to stand up for the kids they're grabbing for snuff films? Who's going to stand up against the Hollywood folks at their death parties? Remember Chuck Norris's son in here? Talking about Hollywood and all the bad stuff. He said things even worse. And he shook. I want to be clear. The United States has already been taken over. We're already in the NAU, already merged with the EU and Asian Union. And that's in all the different globalist BAMF Canada and other documents that have come out. I talk about BAMF all the time because it was thousands of pages, and I actually read hundreds of them, and it was all, we've got to do this by stealth. We'll use terrorism and the flu to take over and merge everything, and then we'll get the politicians to join our ranks. And it was like Fortune 500, over 100 companies there voting, and then the leaders of the U.S., Canada, and Mexico would then vote off their orders at the secret meeting. That's how this works, and it just broke at Infowars.com, red linked. Trans-Pacific Partnership email show CEO joked about making royalty payments to U.S. officials. These are our rules, bragged chemical company boss. And the emails are now through FOIA request. You see, they've made the TPP secret, but then you can do FOIAs to the United States trade representatives and others and then get the sub-documents. That's why they're now having hearings in Congress, I saw them yesterday, about just basically getting rid of FOIA, saying there's so many, we just can't respond anymore. Years ago, I sent off for my FBI file, and they said, we're too busy. They violated federal law. I have a lawyer doing it right now. My lawyer said, you know, they may come after you for this. And he goes, yeah, now they come after people that do their FOIA. Well, good, come after me. Like you did all those little kids, you rape and blow their heads off. I mean, you people are sick freaks. You're a bunch of crooks. I don't care what you do anymore. I'm not ever going to back down from you scum. I mean, you're a bunch of scum. I'll cover this more in the next hour, Lord Moncton. I'm going to settle down. In fact, speaking of snuff films, here's the clip from TMZ. We'll put the article on screen, too, about the snuff stuff. And that's what all this crush porn and all of it is. It's all just hating life, and it's just sick. A former Scorpions bass player admits to attending snuff parties. By the way, I just love the Scorpions. He said he hated it, but still he should have done more and spoke out then. It just makes me sick now when I hear him come on the radio. Briefly, we fund this operation with T-shirts, books, films, high-quality water filters. HDFirearms.com, super high-quality assault rifles made in America, the best out there for the price, HDFirearms.com, InfoWarsStore.com. We are running out of X2 faster than I thought. Weldon and Anthony came in and said the numbers show it'll be sold out by Sunday night at this rate. And we think it'll only be a few weeks till we get a small supply back in that's being manufactured right now, but then the crystals are basically out. And so it could be a month, 6 months, a year, maybe never. So maybe quicker. I don't know. It's up in the air. InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139. Read up on iodine. It's serious business. This is the best, cleanest out there. And it's just done wonders for myself and others. But it's powerful. So be sure and check what the adverse reactions can be, especially if you're already unbalanced. So read about all that. Talk to your physician or healthcare provider before using InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139. We've got the DNA Force. We've got the Super Melons for female vitality. All of it is knock your socks off hardcore. Let's go out to break here with a clip from Mark Dice breaking this down. In fact, in the next segment, I'm going to air Mark Dice's whole report because it really brings a lot of context to it. He has a way of just saying stuff right down to the point, not kind of pontificating like I do, but here's a clip.
Reicherman, originally from Germany, bumped into a paparazzi from TMZ who asked him about Berlin's popular fetish parties, and this was his stunning response.
I went to one time. I've seen really bad.
Was it like a donkey show or?
No, actually, I think they actually kill people there and stuff. They pay like up to like 100,000 people to see people get
executed.
I'm not kidding.
Yeah, well, the Romans did that, and the Babylonians did that, and the ancient Chinese did that, and everybody else, the Mesoamericans did it. The Druids did it. I'm not cool because I'm not into pedophilia. I'm not into torturing people to death. I am into hunting down people that are involved in stuff like this at a very fundamental level. But I wouldn't even take pleasure in seeing these people executed any more than I take pleasure on shooting a weasel getting in the hen house. But these are predators, and this is who rules our planet. And they're setting up a world government so they can carry out their operations publicly and be above the law. And so they can be above God's law and achieve life extension. That's their holy grail. But I guess supposedly if you had the holy grail, you live forever. As science fiction becomes reality. Let's go ahead and play Mark Dice's report.
I'll show you the video clip of him admitting it out of his own mouth in just a second. The former bassist from the Scorpions, Ralph Reicherman, has admitted that he once attended a snuff party where someone or multiple people were murdered for the entertainment of the guests who paid up to $100,000 to attend. Reicherman, originally from Germany, bumped into a paparazzi from TMZ who asked him about Berlin's popular fetish parties, and this was his stunning response.
I went to one time. I've seen really bad.
Was it like a donkey show or?
No, actually, I think they actually kill people there and stuff. They pay like up to like 100,000 people to see people get
executed.
I'm not kidding.
Says he's not kidding. You can see the look on his face. Looks pretty freaked out, which brings to mind the allegations made by former Senator John DeCamp in his book, The Franklin Cover-Up, about supposed snuff films and child abuse that is alleged to have occurred inside the Bohemian Grove by Illuminati members and Aleister Crowley fans and black satanic sex magic practitioners back in the 1980s, around the same time when the Scorpions were in their heyday. They were very popular. Songs like Wind of Change, Rock You Like a Hurricane, and Still Loving You. But one of their album covers, Virgin Killer, features child pornography, which was sanctioned and approved by RCA Records. So it shouldn't be that surprising that such sick individuals who would put such things on their album cover would be rubbing elbows with such sick, satanic people that they would be throwing parties where people would get murdered for the entertainment of the guests. Ralph Reicherman also hinted that there was even something worse that happened at the parties when he said this.
Went to another one where literally I saw like the grossest, I wanted to throw up.
Was he talking about possible child abuse as outlined in the Franklin cover-up? Such allegations don't seem that far-fetched when you understand the sick, satanic black magic practicing scum within the Illuminati, and his stunning admission really should be investigated by the FBI. Absolutely horrific. But in today's society, with many people paying money to go and see the most brutal and realistic horror films like Saw and Hostel, it certainly isn't that far-fetched to believe that certain individuals want to go a step further and actually witness or participate in murders themselves as a form of their entertainment.
Yep. And Mark Dice is obviously a snuffophobe. And I guess you could say a pedophobe, someone scared of children, a pedophile phobe. And I am too. We are bigoted and bad. And he wrote an article about it. The fact that he brought up Bilderberg to her and how she had helped keep the UK out of the European Union, and that she said that she was very, very proud of that, and that she was most proud of that, and that basically it was treasonous. Well, the UK was sucked into the EU by the so-called trade deal, just like the TPP. And details were kept secret. They weren't allowed to vote on it. Just as we're now seeing their prime minister, our president, was, quote, given the unconstitutional authority under either country's laws to sign on to it. And now we know, because of a statement President Obama made on NPR, that's on Infowars.com and DrudgeReport.com today, that indeed there is carbon taxes, there is, quote, global warming initiatives in the TPP agreement. There is draconian manipulation of our borders, quotas on refugees. It's the same thing that's in the EU or the NAU. It's the same group. And we're very honored to have Lord Christopher Monckton, who was on record a major newspaper editor, inventor, chief advisor to Margaret Thatcher, the founder of UKIP, the fastest growing party in the UK and in Europe. Of course, their big stars, Nigel Farage, been a guest many times here. He heads up science at publicpolicy.org. We normally have him on as the leading expert exposing Al Gore and the carbon tax fraud. And there's new documents out today that NASA was ordered to fix the decline in temperature, just as East Anglia got caught in ClimateGate doing. But we're not going to get into that today. I wanted to get Lord Monckton on, and I appreciate him taking the time out to do it on this Friday evening UK time, to discuss what it's like to have fought this, held it back as her advisor. He was the guy to found UKIP decades ago to try to get them then out of the EU, the dictatorial EU that makes 80+% of UK laws without a vote. And to now have the BBC News headline, Germany's Merkel open to EU treaty changes for UK to keep them in. AP, EU weighs unprecedented reform as Britain threatens to leave. The TPP, the EU, it's all heads of the same globalist multinational hydra. And sure, UKIP's forced the Tories to act like they're going to try to let the EU system be forced to a vote. But it does show major progress, in my view. And just look at the progress of founding UKIP. In fact, Lord Monckton, give us some of the history. In fact, I'm going to give you the floor right now until we go to break in about 8-9 minutes. I mean, when did you found UKIP? Break it all down for folks and where we are today, because this is so historical, and it's got to feel really good for you to see this happening.
Well, UKIP was founded, actually not by me, but it was founded 22 years ago.
But you were one of the founders of UKIP, from what I've read online.
Came quite late to the party, actually. It was founded by originally an academic called Alan Sked, who was concerned that we were no longer a democracy. Our democracy had been taken away by stealth, piece by piece. They had dismantled our democracy. Now it's getting on for 90% of all laws made for us are made